Hey Superstar students, it's Dr. Conklin here to do a quick review video looking at some word problems. Wah, wah. We can do it though. Modeling with linear functions. When you see this word modeling, it means we're going to write an equation. And we know that when we write an equation and it's a linear function, we use y equals mx plus b. So in these problems, we're going to want to figure out what to put in for m and what to put in for b. So let's start by looking again, we're on page 29. Let's look at number 1. Water is building up in a bathtub. After 2 minutes, so again, I'm going to highlight the key part. There are 2 minutes, there are 12 gallons of water. And after 4 minutes, there are 20 gallons of water. What is the average rate at which the water is entering the bathtub from t equals 2 to t equals 4 minutes? So this is one of these classic rate of change questions. What we have to figure out is, hey, what goes with 2 and what goes with 4? We don't have any points here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to make some points. 2, we know, goes to 12. At 2 minutes, there's 12 gallons. And 4, we know, goes with 20. So that's our first step, is we're going to figure out points. Now we're going to use our formula. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And we're going to substitute in x1, y1, x2, y2. So let's plug in 20 minus 12 over 4 minus 2. Okay, so again, what did I do here? Here's my x1, I plugged in for x1. Here's my x2, I plugged in for x2, right? Ooh, it's hard to see that one. So feel free at any point to pause the video just to make sure you saw what we're doing. I did that maybe a little too fast, sorry guys. So now I'm going to evaluate 20, different color. 20 minus 2 is 8. And then 4 minus 2 is 2. So when I go ahead and divide that, I get 4. And remember, it's asking about gallons of water in the number of minutes. So our answer is number 4. Okay, now this one, guys, is a little bit easier because we can use that trick I mentioned at the beginning. We can sort of try to figure out what they're asking for by writing an equation. So remember, when they ask us to write an equation, we're going to use y equals mx plus b. And there's always two things we're going to fill in for, the m and the b. So let's read through this problem. Francisco is saving money in an account. At the beginning of the year, he has 56 in savings and puts in another $4 per week. The per, guys, is telling us that's going to be a big hint that that's where our variable is going to go. Whenever you see the word per, that is going to be our m value. So here, every week, he's not just putting in $4 one time. 1 week goes by $4. Another week goes by $4, right, my friends? Okay. Which of the following equations models the savings S has a function of weeks? So when they give us variables like S and W, we have to put those in. So there are two numbers in this, 56 and 4. So instead of putting in M and B, we're going to put something in. Now, the one-time payment that he already has, that's going to be our B value. Okay? Now, whatever has the word per next to it, that's telling us, that's our clue word, that it's going to happen again and again. That's where our 4 is going to be. So if we look back at our choices, we're going to have choice number 1. Okay, and then this is more of a real-world situation for you guys if you have a part-time job. Maria charges $15 for every 2 hours she babysits. Answer the following questions based on this. How much money would Maria charge for working 5 hours? Now this is a little tricky, guys, right? Because if it was 4 hours, we could just double it. So what we're going to do is find this rate. I'm going to take $15 and divide it by 2 hours. So she gets $7.50 per hour. That's her hourly rate. And then she gets $7.50 times 5 hours. Okay, so if you multiply that out, let me get my calculator out for us. I knew I had it. So 7.5 times 5, not a great hourly rate, just want to say that. She would make $37.50 if she babysat for 5 hours. Okay? Now let's look at this. We have a table. Fill out the table below for the amount that Maria makes as she babysits and graph the relationship on the grid. So if she babysits for 2 hours, she gets $15. What if she doubles that? Well, we're going to multiply this by 2. So you also have to multiply the y value by 2. That's going to be 30. Okay? Now, instead of continuing to multiply by 2, let's look and see what's happening here. We're adding 2 here. We're adding 2 here. Do you notice on all our x values, or our hours worked, we're adding 2, adding 2. What are we adding down here for our y values? We're adding 15. Every 2 hours she's worked, she's making 15 more. So now we're up to 45, 60, 75, and finally 90. Okay, so let's graph some of these points. And again, what you want to think about, guys, is that this 215 is really a point. So 2, and I'm just going to do the best I can to estimate. 2 goes to 15. 4 goes up to 30. 6 goes to 45. Now this should be a linear function. It's going to form a line. 8 is going to go to 60. Again, guys, feel free to pause the video, do this on your own, and then you can catch up with us in a little bit. And last but not least, 12 is with 90 at the very top. So I'm going to take and draw our line so we have a nice graph here. Okay? And again, it makes sense. The more she works, the more hours, the more money she's going to make. All right, last thing for today. Write an equation, that means an equal sign, in the amount A that Maria makes as a function of the hours H that she babysits. Keep in mind, Maria will make nothing for no hours of work. We'll make nothing. That sounded funny. We'll make $0, right? That sort of makes sense. You don't work any hours, you're probably not going to make any money, right, guys? So let's think about it. We have this A and this H, okay? So I'm going to think about our form y equals mx plus b. Now, they already told us if she works no hours, she gets nothing. So our starting point, or our b value, is going to be 0. I'm going to keep the y. What's our slope, though? What's changing every time she works 1 hour? How much is she making? Look back here. We already figured this out. Her hourly rate is $7.50. Now, you think you're done here, but you're not, my loves, because we have an A and an H. We need to use those variables. So what we're going to do is substitute in for those. Instead of putting in X and instead of putting in Y, we're going to put those variables in. Which one is going to be the right variable? Well, this is the total amount. This is the hours, right? The more hours she makes, the more money. So we're going to do A, the total amount, $7.50 times H. And that's our final equation. Okay? Remember, key points for today. Make sure you're, using your calculator, but looking back on this question, number 1, if you're asked to find the average rate of change, make sure that you first find 2 points and then use our good old friend, the slope formula. Have a great day, guys, and please reach out if we can help at all. Bye.